Annyeonghaseyo friends, and welcome back to the Torsie channel for more IU, and a very happy Friday to you. And we are finally doing the Friday on Friday thing. Get excited. It's been that many Friday days and we've reached it. We've come to the Friday that you've been asking me for a long time. Sorry it took a while, but it came naturally because this is part something of our Modern Times full album listen. We finished off the bulk of the Modern Times album last week. Now we have the bonus track, which is Voicemail, and the other two songs that were featured on Modern Times Epilogue, which is Friday and Crayon. I've had, honestly, just such a wonderful time going through this album. It's really been lighting up my life. I'm so excited to see the lyrics of these final three songs, and then next week we're going to get into like music videos and performances and everything. It's all good times, and I'm here for it. Over on Patreon today, we are watching part 2 of IU's Homebody Signal with Kim Ina. Please join us over there if you'd like to get into some IU Homebody Signal. The link is in the description. Of course, we're also watching My Mister. But for the here and now, let's finish off Modern Times. Let's go! Catch ya!
어제는 한숨도 못 잤어 미안 아마 너도 느꼈을 거야 어설프게 감추면 2주일 맴돌던 내 모습이 내게 많이 거슬려 다면 사과할게 사실은 지금도 할 수만이 있다면 계속 부정하고 싶다 근데 솔직히 조금은 헷갈리게 만든 네 책임도 있는 거 아냐 늦은 밤 진동 소리에 은근한 목소리로 나를 깨웠잖아 하지만 꼭 먹고 다니라며 다정했던 걱정 정말로 아무 뜻도 없었냐? 걱정과 심각한 수준은 아냐 내게 심심풀이 땅콩이라도 좋다느니 뭐 그런 얘기 하냐 잠깐이로다 알아서 정리할게 녹음 시간은 벌써 2분 30초가 막 넘어가고 있네 사실 더 할 말도 없어 어차피 아무 대책 없이 그냥 한번 질러본 거니까 참 끝까지 초라하다 나 왜 이렇게 한심하니 이런 건 아닌데 답장을 못내 기다릴 텐데 역시 아니라면 난 아니라면 네가 아니면 뭐 아닌 것이 뭐 아닌 것이 뭐
That was more of what we were talking about last week, of how she puts in textures into her songs, things that aren't just instrumental but other ambient noises or recognizable noises from our world. We were talking about it with Gloomy Clock and how there was the boiling of the water and things, and how Jam Jam has the sound of the lid going onto the sweet straw, and that didn't just have the beep of the voicemail but also the chatter underneath of the recording that says you're leaving a voicemail or the voicemail has ended, which reminds me a lot of Simon and Garfunkel's Scarborough Fair, that had underneath the entire thing a news report being read that got louder as the song continued and created quite a different sense to the song, because of course Scarborough Fair wasn't written by Simon and Garfunkel, it's a very old folk song, but was a really interesting way to do an existing song and create a new meaning and ambience about it, to put that constant chatter underneath. And she's creating the ambience again of kind of the hollowness of leaving a voicemail. There is something very hollow about the feeling of leaving a voicemail, and how impersonal it is to have that pre-recorded, the person you're trying to reach is unavailable, please leave a message after the beep, that sort of thing. It's so cold, and adding to that sense of I'm talking into nothingness, and maybe I don't mean anything, and maybe this voicemail means nothing. Especially when you're expecting to talk to somebody, you expect the sound of a person's warm voice, or she says his low voice, on the other side of the line, and instead you get this almost mechanical sound. It leaves a quite an extraordinary sense of loneliness, and I think can often trigger anxiety in people as well. They can over talk or over explain in a voicemail, or do the opposite and leave no detail at all. And the story of what's going on here is her over talking and kind of rambling because she wasn't sure what she was going to say. I really enjoyed the moment of self-awareness of this message has already been going for over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, which is of course the time mark of the song. I have a personal thing where I don't enjoy people acknowledging that what they're doing is singing a song in songs. Like, I really hate when there's lyrics like, and that's why I'm singing this song. I'm always like, oh God. But if we're to consider this song, the voicemail, marking the time of the song with the time that she's been talking is far cleverer than just acknowledging that you're singing a song. That's just a little bit more elevated. It's the same idea, but it is the elevated version of that idea. I also like that sort of running the gamut of this is my fault, or maybe it's your fault too. Who's to blame for this? Maybe I'm not the one for you. Actually, maybe you're not the one for me. That real back and forth you have of trying to figure out who's kind of to blame, if you're going to blame anyone, how you're going to extract yourself from this feeling. And sometimes you can only extract yourself by saying, oh, well, you led me on, and so now I get to remove myself from this feeling without feeling too much like an idiot for falling for it, or for feeling for you what you were never going to feel for me. I think a lot of people who have been through the experience of liking somebody and it being unrequited, I have had that moment of trying to shift responsibility, or at least part of the responsibility, off you so you don't feel quite so silly for liking somebody who didn't like you back. As always, incredibly relatable lyrics, always so relatable, but the thing I enjoy most about that is that once again she's created that ambience and that storytelling of adding in textures to her song that aren't just instrumental and really influence how you feel when you listen to it. Well, the next one is Friday. Finally, I'm very excited. This is our anthem. Should we just claim this as our anthem? Is this going to be our anthem? Might be. We'll double check that at the end of the song just in case it doesn't sit right. Let's go. Catch it. What a cute little photo of her.
월요일엔 아마 바쁘지 않을까 화요일도 성급해 보이지 않그래 수요일은 뭔가 어정쩡한 느낌 목요일은 그냥 내가 왠지 싫어 이번 주 금요일 시간 어때요? 주말까지 기다리긴 힘들어 시간아 달려라 시계로 보채고 싶지만
love her layering.
이번 주 금요일 금요일의 시간 어때요? 딱히 보고 싶은 영화는 없지만 딱히 먹고 싶은 메뉴는 없지만 주말까지 기다리긴 힘들어 시간아 달려라 시계를 보채고 싶지만 마인 컨트롤가 달콤해 이 남자 도대체 뭐야 사랑에 빠지지 않고 못 빼기겠어 온종일 내 맘은 저기시게
Love that lyric, how cute.
한 칸씩 그대에게 더 가까이
누군가에 올린 것 같아 이 여잔 도대체 뭐야 난 사랑해주지 않고는 못 베기겠어 돌아오는 이번 주 금요일에 만나요 그날 내 맘을 더 가져가줘요
더 가까이
더 가까이 와요
Yes, that can definitely be our anthem because we're all him, just being like, I can't help but love you. We're just going to dedicate Friday to you. Part of the conversation with Kim Na on IU's Homebody Signal was Kim Na saying that she can rely on IU to always have the right instincts for how to emotionally play something. She was talking about, I've forgotten which song it was, but she was talking about writing something and then thinking, oh, is she going to be able to get this right? And I think it was because IU was 19 at the time and she thought, oh, maybe this is too mature for her. And then, of course, IU instinctively played the right emotion with the lyric. I think that's really obvious in a song like that when you can hear her smiling while she's singing. It's higher up and tighter in her throat because she's smiling. It's all up here in her placement of where the sound is and makes you smile too and makes you happy with it that, you know, you're being impatient and you can't wait, but it's a happy impatience. It's an excitement. You're glad to be heading towards Friday. You can just hear the smile. IU is terrific at doing that even recorded, even not watching her and seeing what her face is doing and getting all the cues from the face, you can still get it from her voice. But the other thing that Kim Na said was that you can tell when somebody's a good actor by the way they perform a song, and we all know that IU is an absolutely phenomenal actor. Phenomenal. It just blows me away. She completely blows me away. And she can act through her voice, not just her face. You can see how good she is, or more to the point, you can hear how good she is in songs like that. Also, what just fabulous lyrics. My heart's riding the clock hand. Oh, I love that. Also, that whole sort of dismissing the other days landing on Friday, that is 100% how I landed on Friday days. Because at first, if you remember, they were on Mondays. And I was like, Mondays is too hurried and it's the beginning of the week and it's difficult for everybody. And Tuesday and Wednesday were already taken. And Thursday's like a bit of a dead day on YouTube generally. It's like Friday feels right. Friday feels good for IU. And it was only after I started on Fridays that everyone was like, you know, she has the song called Friday, right? And I was like, no. What a coinky dink. I just felt the same. I was just on the same journey as she was. It landed on Friday. We have the last song, my friends. The very last song, and that's Crayon. It's another song that makes you want to shimmy.
지금 봄인지 가을인지 몰라요 한겨울이라면 또 어때요 노가다 없어질 만큼 온종일 만져주는 걸 요즘 날씨가 정말 좋네요 아니래도 사실 알게 뭐야 서울 공기가 이렇게나 달콤했었나요 귀찮아도 대답해줘 love sweet line 그려줘요 touchline 만져줘요 손가락 마디마디까지 다 부드럽게 sweet line 속삭여줘 feel line 다듬어줘 아프지 않을 만큼 두 손에 가득 담아줘 Ooh, yeah. 그래 파스 알루들이 그대 손에다 묻어 끈적거릴 때까지 아이처럼
Woof.
뭐든지 그려요 해줄게요 그래 파스처럼 색칠해요
Love that ad-lib.
그려줘요 sweet line 그려줘요 touch line 만져줘요 머릿결 한 올 한 올까지 다 부드럽게 sweet line 속삭여줘 feel line 다듬어줘 아프지 않을 만큼 두 손에 가득 담아줘
What a great way to end. I'm not at all surprised that that was included in the album, even though it's an OST. It's so in line with so much of modern times, that Latin ballroom, big band sound, the pace, the sense that it makes you want to dance, and then finishing on that fade away until it's a voice on a record, and then that slow grinding to the halt of the record spin and that slight crackle that's in everything. We've seen imagery of records and that sense of this whole album belonging to a slightly different time. It fits completely in with it. It's a really good choice to include it on the album. It belongs there. If it wasn't an OST, it would have been on that album anyway. I think it just fits. Now that we've come to the end of it, this has been a fair journey. The majority of the songs, like I was just saying with Crayon, is part jazz, part Latin ballroom, very specifically Latin ballroom, and then a couple of songs in there that are really, how do I describe them? Because they're neither of those things. I mean, I guess the best way would be to describe them as storytelling songs. Gloomy Clock, which doesn't sound like the rest of them. Voicemail doesn't sound like the rest of them. Friday, I was about to call it Friday. Friday doesn't either. Friday doesn't, I just did it anyway. Musically very different, though the art of storytelling is the through line through the album and the epilogue. You know, sometimes the construction of an album is, you know, here are your dance bangers, here are your ballads. Maybe there's something that was a labor of love for the artist, and so, you know, you really want it there. And there are songs that are meant to be the title track hit, and then some that'll be like little sleeper songs, like the B-sides that some people love and others will completely forget about. That's kind of not what happened here. There are songs that are obviously big. I was saying, I think last week, where I can't remember if I cut it out or not. I was musing after listening to last week of what were actually the songs that were chosen to be what's performed on the music shows or whatever. You know, usually there's a couple. There's the title song, Modern Times, and then there'll be a second one. I'm not sure what the second song is, that like the second title song is, because there are a lot of really strong contenders. And I don't know whether she's picked one of the really contrasting feeling songs like Everybody Has Secrets, or whether she's gone with the pacey, jazzy, you move your feet kind of songs. There's a lot to choose from, and it's not as obvious as maybe some other albums where you listen to the album in entirety and you go, yeah, there are the two tracks right there. It's an album that was built differently. It was built for storytelling. And I think this is one of the most unique albums I've ever heard. Without it being somebody who is specifically a genre performer, someone like Jamie Cullum. Jamie Cullum is a jazz performer. Michael Bublé is a crooner. Those people only ever do that genre. So an album like this would not be surprising, or the majority of the songs on this would not be surprising for an artist like Bublé. But for somebody who has often sung distinctly pop-based music, that's really unusual and it's really unique. And it's somebody who is most interested in telling stories and being excited about music. There is such a sense of joy and appreciation for the art in which she participates, and clearly an enthusiasm for sharing the things that she finds really interesting and beautiful, bringing us all in on the experience. And she produced an entire album that is based on that. It's very brave. I'm not gonna lie. That's quite brave to bring out a genre album, to not just have a couple of songs that are a bit jazzy on an otherwise quite poppy album, but to bring out an entire album like that. That's a lot, and is a testament to how valued and valuable IU is as a performer and as an artist, that she was allowed to. Because there would be a lot of artists who might have said, hey, I'd be really interested in doing an album like this, and people would go, that'll never sell and it'll damage your brand. No, the industry might do that to them. Their management might do that to them. But IU is so beloved and so talented and so well known for being able to really deliver on whatever it is that she puts her hand to, that she was allowed to do an entire album like that. I'm interested in looking up the articles that came out at the time, because I haven't done that. I would much prefer to make up my own mind on a fresh, cold first watch and then find out what other people think. But now I am really interested to see what other commentators said about Modern Times at the time that it came out. Obviously, I know that UNers love it. And of course you do. It's a fabulous album. But what did the industry think? Well, okay. Well, now it's performance time. Now it's performance time. As of next week, let's get into some music videos. Let's get into some performances. Now that I've experienced all of them and their lyrics and everything and shimmied a lot, I'm ready to shimmy again. Thank you so much for joining me for another Friday. 감사합니다. 사랑해요, and I will see you soon for more. 안녕.